And we're live. How's it going, everybody? Hello, synth friends out there. Mr. Basic here. As you could tell by the title. And boy, do we have things to just chill about nonchalantly. Can you all hear me out there? Okay. Let me just get this keyboard out of the way. I'm going to start by talking about something completely different. Keyboards. Um, I've my biggest research point lately has been in the realm of keyboards, and specifically mechanical keyboards, and specifically for, I guess, an enthusiast such as myself. Because I would be an enthusiast simply because I am not a gamer, and I am in no way whatsoever a gamer, a PC gamer at the moment, right now. I don't know if I'll ever be. Depends on how games go on PCs in the future. But basically, but what I'm gonna do, what I settled on actually, which is really interesting, is as I settled on a 40% keyboard. So it's like, see, like this is a full size right here, right? And the keys are the same size on a 40%, but it's 40% of the board. It's 4 layers. I mean, um, 4 keys high, and then across like this, and it's basically just the letters and the space bar and a few other things. And on the bottoms, it has red on one side and blue on the other, just little markers, little symbols that say what your blue functions and what your red functions are going to be, and they are also on the same keys. And this is mostly, this keyboard and 40% keyboards in general are really good for ergonomics, and I'm all about ergonomics. I got the cervical help here. I've got the special pillow that you can get at medical supply stores and stuff like that. And that's really amazing too, and everybody loves it. Everybody I know who knows about them gets them now, and now 3 of us in our family are having having to go through and get more every once in a while and stuff. Anyway, along the lines of keyboards, basically it has that, plus it's if you're a gamer type or a programmer or a person who really is like an optimization freak, or a workflow freak, or an efficiency freak, or a logistics freak. Um, it's really it's the best solution I could find for programming a keyboard, because it's got its 4 different layers of programmability. Right, so the keys, you could have on one layer, have the keys be whatever you want, and you make them what you want. And another layer, they're what you want, and another layer, they're what you want. And then you can even customize your keycaps by putting stickers or whatever on for what you did, or special keycaps. But the thing about it is, so then you've got that, but a lot of keyboards out there that are programmable, they do it through software and other ways like that. And that's one of the biggest frustrations everybody has with programming keyboards and stuff. And the Vortex Core does it all on board, on the hardware. So you don't have to worry about software. That's just, I think, the best solution anyway. But that's not synth related, but it is work studio related. It's YouTube related. It's if you're online, if you're wanting to do a vlog, which I'm getting up the gumption to do a daily journal, a daily public journal online, that I used to do in various formats, or tried out just briefly and didn't keep going with it. But I think at this point in my life, I can now. I tried LiveJournal. I did LiveJournal, and I also did. It wasn't WordPress. It was it WordPress? Might have been WordPress, something like that. Google's version might have been WordPress. I forgot now. It's so long ago. But I think I'm going to start doing that, maybe on Discord, maybe on my Discord page, and then start inviting people to just see my daily journals. If I get to, because I don't know. I know 200 subscribers isn't a lot, but I don't want to, wait wait till I think I have enough of an influence in the world to start like putting things out there publicly. I just want to put out a record of everything that's useful, as if everybody was watching, because at some point in time maybe people will be looking back and then be watching even more. But also, you people who are watching now are probably the most valuable, because you're the people who in the whole throughout the whole world who are paying attention to this kind of thing anyway. So yeah, so that's one reason why I'm gonna get serious about keyboards. And I like this one. It just has a lot of fluff. The 10 key, I've never done anything, and nor will I ever do anything that needs enough numbers quickly enough to be doing 10 key. Like I said, I'm 100% non PC gamer now in my life. Um, so, but that'll also be good for programming too. I could have white keys and black keys and put the different keycaps on it, and also have a programmed layer that's a keyboard. And also, I could have different programmed layers that are different scales of keys on keyboards, like the circuit here, and have it be the same. And actually, oftentimes, I mean, there's a keyboard called the Plank that takes the keys on the mechanical keyboard and makes them just plain, straight up and down like a chocolate bar, and it looks like a chocolate bar. And a lot of people, do the whole DIY setup, perfectly, so that it does look like a chocolate bar. Then there's an even smaller mechanical keyboard called the Gherkin that you can also is only a DIY kit, I believe, and it's a 30% keyboard that's like the Plank, where it's just like they're exactly just squares right next to each other and on top of each other. But anyway, enough of that. We're gonna do some recommendations here. One, I don't know if y'all do sample packs at all. If you ever do sample packs, anybody who has a Digitakt out there, or anyone who doesn't actually, if you go to the Electron site for packs, for the sound packs for the Digitakt, my friend DubG. We call him DubG. He's had some other names before. Let me see real quick what he says about. It's kind of hard to search for him. I copied this down. He says, okay, well, his sample packs that he just did for the Digitakt is at Electron's website, www.electron.se, Sound Packs Foundation. So basically, yeah, and it's called Foundation. He says the best way to search for him is either search XLINK, Xlink, XLIN, oh, XLINGK, XLINGK. So Xlink, Xlink. That's his old YouTube name. Or search how to make dub techno. And he's the second video on there, because it's kind of hard. There's so many G's out there, and I think there might be a lot of dub G's too. I did pretty well with Mr. Basic. There were a lot out there, but nobody like really popular. And then I found out, oh, there's this guy working for Perfect Circuit that's Basic, and he's popular, and he's still popular, and even more so. And I'm getting to know more and more about him. I'm like, dang, another Basic out there. But it makes sense, This is what we're doing with control voltage, and people who just like to get down to the nitty gritties of what they're actually doing and do it manually and stuff. That's kind of along the lines of what my name happens to be online. So DubG's got that. I would just, and I would look at all this stuff. The thing is, how I got to know him is from all of his. He just did a 2-hour one of his just showing you him making a track, like how to make a track, how to make this, how to make that, and it's him on Ableton, and he's been doing it, he's been doing it well and had a good workflow for a long time. So yeah, and he can show you just if you have any issues with how to do that sort of thing, because he's the man that way. So shout out to DubG that way. Also, let's see. Yeah, another person I wanted to mention, that that um, I I don't know if I've even really commented much on his videos or anything like that. I used to in the past, probably more. But the thing is, I've always watched this guy, Third Story Chemist. If you synth guys have never aren't familiar with Third Story Chemist, um, he uh, he does top down view, bird's eye view of synthesizers, usually pairing just one with another or one with a pedal. Um, like say like the mini brute with a pedal, is his sort of deal. But he goes and does these pretty good long, nice sounding demos of synthesizers that way, and it's no nonsense. Kind of makes me feel like, yeah, that's the direction I want to go. And I want to ask all you guys in the chat, or also, oh shoot, there it is again. It's just top chat by default, live chat, and also in the comments later. Um, yeah, whether I should do stuff like that. Sphera Music Live, nice to see you here again. Oh my gosh, I'm glad I caught the chat thing so I can actually read the chat soon enough. Yeah, nice to see you here. Yeah. So yeah, shouting out our friend DubG. And yeah, go ahead and try to find the dude. He's awesome. And yeah, probably put in the search Ableton and how to make a track and stuff like that, and you'll definitely find him. You'll find him more from his content than his name, I think, unfortunately, at the moment. So yeah, there's Third Story Chemist. What else? Oh right, Rik Marston has been catching my attention this last week. Okay, and oh yeah, Acoustic Stevo. Nice to see you here again. Enjoy all my sent videos. Awesome. My January videos, I think you might be referring to. Yeah, my one a day stuff. That they all turned out great. But that's the thing about the circuit. That's what I wanted to show, is like you can just sit there with not a thought, go up to the circuit, you know, having picked your sounds, because picking your sounds is the boring part, and that's the thing that we don't really want to see as much on video too, is what I was kind of getting at in that whole January thing, is like, yeah, I'll cut out that part, and it's just actually cool just to go up to it and just like press play and do that stuff. I don't know if you were talking about that. Marshall, yeah, nice to see you here, Marshall Arnold. I see that you did a live show today, and I was just about to watch it. But I realized that I would just keep taking all day watching live streams and not get it done myself. And I've been putting this off this week. I wanted to on Monday, and now here it is. So yeah, so I'm glad. I hope everybody's done streaming today so I can do mine. And then I'm gonna go back and watch Marshall Arnold's stream. It's got Mr. Cowfood and the other guy, Espencraft, I believe there. Yeah, and Espencraft actually went to NAMM. So definitely check those guys out and check that out after you're done here. So yeah, and what I was gonna say is Rik Marston has been putting out. He also does synth talks, and Thursdays, I believe. At least this last Thursday, I noticed it, and I went and I watched it, and also just recently, he just did an interview. With the dude, I think today, with the dude who just came out with a new synth, the Paramount synth Miera, and it's on crowdfunding now, and it's this like really cool, huge analog light up backlit synth that has a mod wheel on either side for LFOs, either side of the keyboard. So you're like, you know, and that's really cool and all that stuff. So go and check out Rik Marston's channel. He's SynthgodXXX with no spaces. SynthgodXXX, no spaces in between. So that, and I'll link him and other people I mentioned in the description too. And he's been doing up to part 3 now of used synths to avoid. And this is what I really wanted to say about Rik Marston just today, this week, is that him doing that and going into such detail on all the old vintage synths that you've heard of, and all of them that you and all these ones you haven't as well, and going into all the little details of what was quirky about them, what breaks down the most, and all that stuff is like, how could you even, like, you're packing a lot of stuff in there for everybody. I noticed he only has 1.7 thousand subscribers, and more people need to see that information is what I'm getting at. And so I hope that that keeps being a sort of like evergreen series video. You should actually put it into like a playlist so everybody can just watch one after the other, um, because that's all good, really good stuff. Cool stuff, Rik Marston. I've always enjoyed your videos. Mainly, your just like demo videos of you doing, just playing on your synth, demoing stuff, and your love letter to Moog about the grandmother was great too. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know if he'll ever see this, but people here or who see this video should go check out his channel at SynthgodXXX. Um, if y'all haven't wondered what kind of I kind of just wanted to mention at one of these live streams, and I'm gonna say it now. I listened to uh, a Pandora radio, um, and I try out so many stations, and it's so hit and miss. And even when you start out with an artist, it's hit and miss because Pandora likes to go off on tangents and stuff like that and make you get into other things. But sometimes I find a pocket and a good radio station that'll last for like a year, that I can just listen to that radio station for a year and not even think that I'm listening to anything else, but not ever choose something else. So this whole last year, it's been the progressive house station. And so, like, say what you want about what you think of the word progressive, or the way of uh, titling things, or the way that Pandora does is not. I know it's not perfect, but for better or for worse, there's a lot of good stuff on there. And that I've really enjoyed enough to just spend like oftentimes 8 hours a day on it. But here's my number one artist in this progressive house genre, or just house and house in general. This is my favorite type of house, is what it actually is to me, how I would define it. This is my favorite of all electronic music. Like, this is like what I think electronic music should be when it comes to the house beat type of, type of thing, um, or say like the drum machine type of beat sort of thing, that's turned into the as lovely a thing as it has. And this artist I'm gonna say is Dinka. You probably have all maybe heard of Dinka before, but Dinka, Dinka, and like I said, there's a lot of hit and misses, but when it comes, like, I've been really into house music. That's like influenced me to just keep kind of like get on this circuit. That's especially the circuit is specializes in house music, and it specializes in just making house music just in an instant. Because what house is it really is, it's a beat that you can put on any type of music and it becomes house music. So and the circuit makes that beat so easily. Yeah. Hey, Anki. Hey, Lisa. How's it going? Nice to see you here. Even though it's not a Monday. Yay! I still saw you in my chat. Yay. Good to see you. Yeah. So yeah, Dinka, my highest recommendation from like the whole year of listening to house music and doing as much research as I could on, what the best of house might be and what kind of genres people talk about, that whether those genres have been hit or miss for me. Really, Dinka has been the artist, that I think is just when all of the songs are good no matter what. Like, say, Dead Mouse, hit and miss. Like, I would just click away years ago on Pandora, when all I liked of electronic music at the time was what you'd call new funk or new disco. I liked things with a lot of swing like that and stuff. And so when Dead Mouse came on, I'd be like, eh. And now years later, I'm like, I like that stuff, but I don't like all of his stuff. And I especially don't like what I've seen, a lot of what I've seen of him anyway, since then. But that's another story. That's just stupid, doesn't need to be told. Um, So what's next? Uh, yeah, I want people to give me ideas for what I think I should do with YouTube. What should we do with YouTube? Like, like just make it, just keep on going, making hardware jams is a good thing, or should it be like, should I like really focus on tutorials, or like is this more like of a journalism sort of thing? Is like, um am I trying to keep up with the times and then pass that on? I don't know. I'm gonna do all three for now. Uh, but as my studio gets better, I realize that I am going to change my focus, whether I like it or not, because as we focus on gear. I think a lot of us are focused on gear, if we are, because we're trying to build up something and we think it's not finished yet. But there's a lot of people out there who are like, well, I collect stuff, I get stuff when it's good, but like I've been in the business forever and blah blah blah, right? And so they're doing different things, and I realize that once I get everything together, and the more I get everything together, the less I'm going to be gear centered in what I'm going to be able to do on YouTube, because I won't be looking as much at the new stuff. You realize like what I'm saying? Like I won't be looking at new gear whenever I'm satisfied with it. So when I'm more satisfied, which I know I will be, because with my modular, I'm trying to create a an actual like limited machine, not just go forever. So yeah, you definitely will see music from me later on. But the thing is, I'm gonna go the route of therapy too, because I don't think synths as therapy, I don't think people are really doing much research in that realm and showing, in any way, showing the general populace on YouTube what they're doing in that kind of research. As far as like just synths ability to soothe or whatever. And I didn't think something like the mini brute, would uh, like I didn't think something like this would 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 do the trick, but when I realized it would, that's kind of when I started to get more like seriously into synthesizers. Is when I realized it could really do something for you, and passing that on would obviously just make for a good, successful, track set, live performance, album, everything like that, uh, as we go along. Yeah, acoustic Stevo, definitely take one of my January videos anytime, and that goes for anyone, and write some lyrics and sing over it as a kind of collaboration. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I want to do, and I want people to do. Some people have already taken my videos and like sampled me and sampled my voice and did something with it. But that might have been off of the idea of what I did, sampling Gaz's voice and doing a tribute to him. That was cool, and I did a song and with his voice sampled over top of it. I think that's a good tribute for people, like somebody saying something really cool. Anyway, so somebody did one of me saying pulse code modulation before I knew what it was. I'm like, what's pulse code modulation? What the heck? I'm like, that's cool. Nothing has pulse code modulation. Um, I think you're doing well, just doing what you do live. It's refreshing and different, like a friendly, geeky coffee morning. Yeah, yeah, totally. Um, yeah, and usually I have like a whole list of things to say on live streams too, but I just kind of just realized this week that I don't have that much to say. Uh, that's all synthy and stuff, and I don't have that much organized because life has been happening to me. I just got a new car, um, So I might have mentioned that before, that I was going to have to do that because my other one quit in such a way that, I mean, it hasn't quit, but it's all like making noises. I take it in, and they say they can't do anything to it, so I have to get a new car. But so I get another one, uh, for about the same price, actually, a little bit more. I got a Nissan Pathfinder, a year 2000 Nissan Pathfinder. It's an old one, and is seriously good condition, and it's awesome, and it's so much better, actually. The thing is, it's a V6, same, just about same liter engine, but yeah. So I got a Nissan Pathfinder. I had a Lexus RX 300, right? And so that's the Lexus SUV, or actually it's Lexus, but it's Toyota. It's the Toyota SUV. So basically, there's a Toyota engine in there. So in comparison, the Nissan, see, I've been with Nissans like forever. I had an Altima, had a Maxima, and now my wife has a Maxima, and now I have a Pathfinder. And my dream car has been the 350Z or 370Z, and those old ones, the Datsun B210s. Like, so I'm all about Nissan. And the thing is, okay, people don't realize there's Toyota and there's Honda and stuff, but then Nissan is not competing with them. They're not a competitor of Toyota and Honda. Yeah, they're Japanese as well. That's where it ends, because Nissan has innovated their engine in the ways engines are made and define themselves. Every year they do huge amounts of that, and always have always just tried to make the world's most perfect engine. And so they've won awards for this all throughout the years, and their engines are just different because they're more efficient. So from the get-go, you put down the gas, it takes no effort to go vroom. It's not like it's got a lot of power so it can carry your car. No, it's like vroom, it just goes, right? And I still like the V6, at least a 3 liter. But anyway, yeah. So I just got that on Monday, so I couldn't live stream then. And then yeah, so I've been thinking about improving this, because my computer's been cutting out, and then it sometimes it'll boot up, it'll reboot up again, and sometimes it won't, and so I'll try it a few times and then it'll boot up. So I'm thinking computer stuff. Ergonomics also, I'm going to get a trackball uh, mouse instead of doing this thing on the laptop. Yeah. Geeky fact: Honda owns Pioneer. Oh my goodness, Dave Smith. Do you drive a Honda, Dave Smith? Actually, that's funny, because Dave Smith has a car dealership up in Seattle, and that's what comes up instead of Dave Smith when I type in Dave Smith for Dave Smith Instruments. And then I get ad commercials for Dave Smith autos. Anyway, it's funny. Geeky fact. Acoustic Stevo. I do Nissans too. I've only had a couple Sentras, and right now I have an Altima 2001. Yeah, see, I had an Altima, and that was cool. And somebody um, even modified it, the one I had, so that it runs rich, so it gets more gas when you put down the pedal. But it uses more gas, but it made it so I got a ticket the first time I drove it. Yay. Because I didn't, because it just felt different, and I didn't feel like I was going that fast. Anyway, yeah, good stuff. But yeah, so the 350Z has been my dream car. Although I'd go with the 370Z though, except for there's a thing that in the end beat all of that out, which was the Audi TT. I would like even more, but just because I'm older now, it's softer, more luxurious, and all that stuff in terms of the chassis, and it just hugs the road better, and that's more of what I'm into than the actual just like seat of your pants sort of thing that I was into before. Yeah. So I got to get a blue banjo for my daughter for her birthday. She wants a blue banjo, and the cheapest one I could find was $150 online and I think it's a banjo lele, so I think it is the right size, it seems like. And yeah, but hey, that actually is cheap when it comes to like guitars and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a banjolele. Have you guys ever used banjoleles? That's that's quite an Olympia thing to do. Um, yeah, the Dreadbox hypnosis. Uh, when that gets out, I'm gonna get my hands on it one way or another. The stylophone generate is gonna be on the way to me at some point. Yeah, in the end, not this year or anything. I'm not worried about it because I can record just fine with the setup I have. But what I think is like the end goal for me would be to have a recording mixing desk like the Tascam Model 24. So I'm still going that route instead of getting like one of the newer audio interfaces, getting the Arturia audio interfaces, which would be amazing as well, and stuff like that. And I've been working on VCV Rack a lot lately. And by the way, the Geodesics set just came out with a new module, and it's free. The Geodesic set is one of the free ones that you can just download into VCV Rack, and they're so amazing. They're so amazing. I'm going to do a video on these modules just because they're so beautiful and different from any other type of look of an electronic instrument. Um, so that's the Geodesic set in VCV Rack. The other one that I really have been liking and that I've been working with this week is AS. AS Modular does these modules in VCV Rack, and their mixer is one of my favorites. Although um, MS Hack or Miscellaneous Hack, Mishack, uh, Mishack or MS Hack, whatever. I also have their mixer, which is a 24-channel mixer with sends and returns in there. So technically, if I wanted to do enough sends and returns on you know, or I mean, if I wanted to do enough ins on an audio interface to go into my computer to record that way. Then I could do that in VCV Rack, and that would be still better than a DAW, in my opinion, because it's just total control over what you're doing the whole way. However, that would cause me to go in the route of getting another computer and stuff like that. But the thing is, like, I really think the Tascam Model 24 is the solution because it can also be your audio interface, and which really means that it has that many ins. Um, Yeah, which is more than even chaining ADAT interfaces the other way. Plus, you can just record on it. Plus, you can mix back into it. It just seems like it's the next best revolutionary thing, but people won't know it, until they get out of this whole idea of like the kids really think of like DAWless as a thing. Like they think that there's a thing called DAWless and it's a trend, or it may be a trend, may or may not be a trend that people are just into because it's fun, but it's not the way you professionally do things. When in fact they just haven't learned yet that the recording industries have always done everything, and not complained about it. Everything it's about recording sound. That's still what you're doing, but if you're letting some people do parts of it, then you're letting some people do parts of it. That's what you're changing, but it doesn't mean it's actually the sound is getting better. So if that's not the case, then all I'm saying is this DAWless thing was never DAWless. It's just you haven't learned yet, and there's a lot of people on YouTube who haven't learned yet, and then they're all talking to each other about it, about how, well, that's cool, but it's cool for if you have stared at your screen for too long and you don't want to stare at your screen for a little while, right? No, no, real life is not for if you don't want to stare at your screen for too long. I'm I'm rant I'm ranting again. I should stop. Yeah. Yeah, she's copying dad. She's already got her own ukuleles. She's got ukuleles. I don't know why she wanted a pink banjo because It's just because I saw it somewhere and I mentioned it, and she's like, oh, I want a pink banjo. And then we start looking at them, and oh, there's a blue one. She's like, I want a blue one, which is great because it matches her eyes. That color blue is like, yeah, it looks really good on her as well in dresses and stuff. Yeah. So I don't know what to talk about really, except the thing is, yeah. So I'm working on a Platts tutorial. And I'm gonna do a video for each mode. People have already asked me about that, so I think that's a good way to go. And I can talk in great detail about things, especially with an outline or a script. I could really do well. And I think I'm gonna go the route of narrating and not being on camera. Um, uh, and just have like the perfect view of the modules, kind of like DivKid does. So, you think that might be the best way to go? Yeah, I think so. So it's been 36 minutes. I think I might want to. I've been working on this stuff, but I haven't got it all set up in any particular way. I think I'm still in sync. We'll see if I'm in sync. Unlocking the mini brew from the circuit. And then from the mini brew, I'm going out to the Platts, to the 3 Platts modules, all 3 at once. And you have to tune them each. I have to tune the frequency knob each to make sure that the same note is coming out of the mini brew. If you want to move the same note. That's just the mini root. And then the tempo knob I've got set just to 120, and it drifts. It's not perfect, so but I could go into advance the clock on one of these triggers out, but I ran out of cables again. Actually, I have more cables, but I'd have to go into my closet somewhere to my System 1M box and get out those cables that it came with that are like shoestring cables. They're awful looking, but they work. So I might do that. Well, okay, the thing is, from since the late 80s, industry has wanted us to just use other people's sounds, and then they want those people to be the experts who make the money making the sounds, right? And then, and they work for companies. That's how they want it. And so that's how they made workstation synths that way, and said, no, you can't sound design. We have our sound design guys, and we've made for you all these sounds and made it and done it all for you. And the computer is like so much better for everybody, and even for the pros, because it makes that process even easier of like getting all the stuff that everybody's already made for you. And so it's just kind of like more convenience, more and more convenience, as in terms of not having to be a musician anymore or play music. So that's the thing I think that's been lost, and maybe like one of my big missions for being here and my creed is to like get back to a spot where at least kids know that there was a time, and there are places and there are cultures around the world that are all about like music before it became a recorded product, and which was that it didn't belong to anybody. When you expressed yourself, that's when it's freed into the world, and so when you play something and somebody hears it, they can play it again for somebody else, and that's how it gets spread, right? And when somebody breaks out an instrument, starts singing, everybody else in the room starts singing as well and breaks out their instruments. And that's how it is a lot of places, and that's how it's been a lot of places and a lot of times and eras in my life, where it's just like music has always been a thing that's shared. And if it's not shared, it doesn't exist. And it's like, it's not a thing that it's yours, it's a product, and you must get paid for it because you did it once, you know and if somebody else does it the same way they stole it, that whole world is not one that I respect. you know so I'll live in it, I'll benefit from it as much as I can, but I'll know what never to actually expect from nature in the end. So I'm not going to complain in my mind about anything when it comes to making music, because I feel like making music is something that you're doing in the moment. So if you deserve anything for it, you deserve money now for what you're doing right now, not for something you did and you're copying. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, hold on. Okay, so the book people of Great Britain are doing this scam, and so I am. My bank is telling me all about the stuff that they're doing to prepare for that, and having to do with my account and everybody else's, to make sure that we don't get got, and that's great. I'm sorry about that, Inky. Let me read up all your posts there. Yeah, okay. As one from the UK sounds a bit like US national anthem on acid. I feel the same way. Music should never be something that's owned by one person. Yeah, yeah, and I believe, and I realize it's this is all perfect world sort of talk, but it's the perspective that we should all keep holding on to when we're thinking about this stuff. It's the healthy perspective. Yeah. And so I'm not against the computer. I'm all about computers and the potential of computers. But as far as like programs that are out right now, um, I'll I'll pump something up, but uh, not the form of a digital workstation in general is not going to be something I'm going to pump up as like the answer, because there's a lot of things coming out in different formats. I dare say modular formats, um, that have to do with ways to record music. When just a couple years ago, when I started trying to learn about all this stuff, and learned what an audio interface was, and what digital workstations were, I went and I asked my brother, who's in the music industry and all that stuff. Uh, I mean, he's a music teacher, and um, and went to a music school for music and all that stuff. Anyway, so I asked him about, okay, as far as digital workstations go, what do you record your audio into? When you work on the computer, because I asked him about digital workstations. He's like gives me this kind of like, what. He's like, "Why are you? What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, when you record, what do you record in? What do you guys record into when you record into the computer?" And they're like, he's like, "Yeah, we all Audacity. We all use Audacity." And then he chuckled. He's just like, so yeah. So all this hype on YouTube about stuff. I mean, really, you should always listen to the people who just plain say, yeah, you can make your music on anything. If you can get a pristine sound, AKA, if you can get a hot enough signal from your music for it to be a good sound, um, and it sounds good, then you've got it. Pro sound. Uh, it really is true. So all this all this deep immersion I've been doing keeps me going back to the same truth over and over again. So yeah, that's a good comforting thought. But what I was going to say about DAW, that was leading up. What I was going to say about DAWs, though, is even though you can't say something like that it's the perfect way to make music, as a the digital workstation is, certain any one digital workstation, yeah, then you pump it up, because any one digital workstation is going to have those things that you're going to be able to talk about that make it really cool and superior to anything else when it comes to workflow and stuff like that. Like for instance, Bitwig's grid. Like I might decide that Bitwig is the thing at some point, or something like that. Even though I'm saying, yeah, DAWs aren't the thing, but a DAW might be. Any upcoming one might be. Any DAW that's already in effect might be. And for a lot of people, it's Cubase. And I don't know why. I don't know whether it's Pro Tools for most people because it had to be, but Pro Tools, I mean, it's a lot like Cubase in that it really does do the trick for a lot of uh, your jobs, a lot of your business end stuff you make money for. But yeah, but see, it all comes back to if it comes to making a product, what's most efficient to make a certain product, you can list something like, Ableton with Max for Live or Bitwig or something like that. But when it comes to making music, that's a whole different discussion. What's good or not? And it might not involve the computer at all, or it might. Yeah. So yeah, the things I think about, um, keyboards. I've always used mechanical keyboards because always used old free keyboards, right? But then there's the laptop, and I've never really thought about the fact that this membrane keyboard is like really awful to type on in comparison to something like this, or especially see, okay, what I like more than anything, what I like more than that is these keycaps here. Look at that. Feel that. It's so soft. It's each one, they don't have this different curve for each row or anything. They're totally uniform. So they feel the same no matter what. See, those couldn't be greens or blues. That would have to be a brown or clear in there, and that would have to be a brown or clear in there too. Except for this is so old that wouldn't be anything like that. Wouldn't be what's available now. Um, but yeah, the thing about these is I need an external keyboard for this. Same thing with my old laptop. I always needed an external keyboard with it because the keys always broke. They have these scissor connections underneath, right? And they break. It always breaks, and I can't use my number keys, so I have to go use this on-screen keyboard and touch the screen, or use the trackpad on it still. Yeah, so I'm gonna get better at ergonomics and the things that I actually do, and that'll get me back to getting a better workflow in terms of what I'm doing. Because I realized actually in order to make good content on YouTube and make better videos, I'm gonna have to organize myself a lot better than I am. And so I'm pretty sure I still want to do that on paper and not go with all these sort of apps that I've researched. But well, I could list some of those, but that's the thing, is I'm not like Asana for getting tasks done and things like that. What was I getting at? Well, yeah, well, basically I want to help in the ergonomics realm in order to physically motivate myself to, that's what I'll be doing, is like typing, is to be able to type more, because I need to write more down. And then so that'll get me to write into the computer, which is something that'll stay. And maybe Google Docs. Maybe I'll go ahead and use Google Docs and keep things on Google Drive that way. Things that aren't really that special. And then I'll keep a journal, like I was saying before. Yeah. I'm gonna thumbs up I can't thumbs up my own, or did I? I'm gonna thumbs up my own stream. I probably can't do that until afterwards. Sunny says to like your own videos. It's okay to like your own videos. YouTube won't blacklist you in some kind of weird way if you do that. So like the videos of your own that you like. I guess it's okay to do that. Your vote counts too. Yeah. So I'm doing that, and then this this trackpad thing is also not good. I'm gonna get a trackball, and I'm left-handed. So finally, at last, I'm gonna start using a mouse with my left hand. and it's going to be the thumb is the ball. Oh, see, like, oh man, it's going out of socket already. It's going out of socket as we speak. Yeah, I'm an old man. uh, um, and what else? Uh, I I kind of dabbled with the idea of getting. I'm gonna need a NAS, a uh, network accessible storage unit, because I don't want to keep piling up hard drives of stuff of because I'm taking a lot of video of my daughter when she goes places and when does stuff and like videos are like gigs and gigs. So like and it's not even 4K yet. So I'm definitely going to need a NAS for the family library in the future. And I'm looking at like a rack mount uh, sort of NAS station with four bays, and that would be the starting thing. I could get a hold of something like that for $500 without the disk drives, I believe. So then you start getting your disk drives to put in it. But if it's necessary, it's going to be necessary, and so maybe in a couple months I'll be able to do that. And then also rack mount computer. I don't know if you guys have ever thought about that idea that they do rack mount computers too. Even Dell does a rack mount workstation computer. Workstation computer meaning better quality than your low range computers that they sell to everybody else. But it's not a server. It's not set up like a server. It's set up for you to do work on, but it's just better. And they do a rack mount version of one of those, but I wouldn't do that because that's too expensive. You actually have a lot of companies out there that are doing a rack mounted industrial computer solution um, that that are just reasonably priced like your other desktop PCs, and they'll build it for you. But what I need is at least 16 gigabytes of RAM for video editing. I don't need 32. I realized that you don't need 32 for video editing, just some gaming. But another thing that if you're making a lot of video, if you guys are YouTubers out there, you're making video, um, uh, or making professional video, especially professional looking video that you don't want to glitch out, you want a fast hard drive as well. See what the speed of the hard drive is, and look into faster hard drives and slower hard drives. And that's another thing you'll want for video, transferring video from one place to another. Um, so yeah, this has been a week of thinking about non-synth related stuff. So I'm sorry about that, people. But yeah, but I live stream every week, so that's what that's all about. And I shouted out some people. Yeah, go and see Rik Marston. Go and see Marshall Arnold's synth talk as well. Both, doing synth talks that I haven't mentioned in previous live streams. I've mentioned in previous live streams a lot of other people who do synth talks, and so, but there's still, with everyone I've mentioned, that's about all I know that I can think of, except for, I might have mentioned I Will Create. Yeah, I put him in one of the descriptions, linked him. Yeah, people who don't just make music, but talk about stuff, talk about their process and show their process. I think that's, I wanted to kind of like ask and get some feedback on. So put in the comments of what kind of videos you think are like the best out there in our synth community that I don't know, or stuff that you might like me to do. My answer to that would be what I like to see more, what I would like to see more and keep on seeing more is people doing things from scratch and showing their process and showing a workflow, because I'm still interested in developing a workflow, and also patches from scratch. Bo says he might be interested in doing some of those, and I gave the thumbs up on that because yeah, because that's what I want to see from everybody. I want to see modular patches from scratches, and also jam from scratch like I did for all of my Januaries were from scratch on camera from scratch. From it just to to start there, and that's the thing is I actually input the notes into the sequencer, and I hadn't input the notes yet into the sequencer before that. And so yeah, that's something that I'm really would like to see more of. But also uh, I want to see people inputting notes because I'm interested in inputting notes. So I don't just want to be entertained. I want to be informed on what it's like for you to use that gear, at least now while I am looking at gear. I hope to go to NAM next year or the year after that or the year after that. hopefully, hopefully I can do something like that next year. My daughter will only be 4, so I think maybe 5. It's kind of loud in there. That won't be the only thing to do, obviously. And we might go like as a whole family, and they might have something else to do while I'm actually at NAM, going through the floor of NAM because it's Anaheim. There's Disneyland and stuff. you know. So yeah. Wow, Enki, thank you for being here and sticking around and stuff like that. Looks like it's been an hour when it says 1:02:08:9:10:11. I think that's what it means is that it's been an hour. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'm gonna go watch Marshall's NAM wrap up now. Uh, yeah. Really? You're gonna start a new channel? Cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. That's what I think. I want to split channels when I get to the point of doing like really good music, and then I'll just do a no talk channel, you know. But yeah, that and then have a talking channel and demoing channel. Yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, I'll definitely figure out where that is and stuff. I'm gonna go to it after this. Or maybe if you don't have it set up yet, I don't know. But all right, looking forward to it. Have a good one. Take it easy. See you on the flip side. Hopefully next week.